Are you guys struggling on what decks to play for the format? Well, we have deck templates here where you guys can mess around with, and I'm going to be playing some of these tonight. I will be opening over 200 packs, and let's just go over all these decks rapid fire so you guys have a better idea on what to play and what to build. So right now, this is a Mega Gyarados build with Mantike and Waterfall Magikarp. So we do have Gyarados, the baby version, to deal with Oricorio. More or less, this is going to be a turbo version on getting as much energy on Magikarp as fast as possible. So you can start using Mega Gyarados to attack. You have cards like X-Speed to retreat. Two Pokeballs, Sabrina, red card, May for consistency, Licia, so you could get either the Mantike or Magikarp, the pieces needed. And you have Guzma, to take care of any item cards or tools that, pop up. So that's a solid version. The next deck I want to go over is a variant of Blaziken and Entei EX. Yeah, the deck is going to utilize Entei. Again, this is going to be a theory deck. I want to see how good it could really be. And then you have Blaziken, the regular version. Reason being, you want to deal with Oricorio, any Oricorio threats. We're getting that in a shiny, so people are going to be playing the shiny version as well. Again, we're going to utilize Flame Patch. Flame Patch might be super useful with the Entei EX in the back as well. And not only that, we can utilize Entei EX as a draw engine to help our consistency. And yeah, this is going to be one version of it. Another version of the Blaziken EX is the Clef. The Clef version is basically going to help us get, the consistency like Charizard, Stoke Charizard EX. We're just swapping it out for Mega Blaziken. And notice we're going to use the Combustion and Baby Blaziken as well, just in case we have to deal with the Yellow Bird or any other threats. It could still push for game. 2 energy for 100 is still pretty good. And then we have, one Flame Patch, one Sabrina. Again, the Sabrina is to deal with the Yellow Bird, one May to help the consistency, and of course, double Lily, because we need to live super long. We have, the Suicun deck, with Greninja EX. Now, the Greninja EX is going to be very interesting. It could have a lot of potential in this format, and the only place I could see it being useful is in a Suicun build, right? Where you could just, swap out of Suicun and start attacking with Giratina or anything else. But I still think the 20 ping is a lot stronger. And, we're playing May to help the consistency, of course. And I just feel Suicun is still going to be super strong in this format. And Greninja EX is just going to be, one of those cards that just, changes this deck forever. The next deck I want to bring up is Ampharos EX. Ampharos EX looks pretty strong. You got the double Zeraoras, one Oricorio, the baby Ampharos. The Ampharos is just to deal with Oricorio again in the mirror match, and you also have access to Zeraora. And Ampharos, Mega Ampharos is just gonna wreck everything in the back row, so you could take advantage with Cyrus and push for game as well. Another variant of this deck, well, not this deck per se, we have Jolteon EX. Jolteon EX is going to be super strong. I think Eevee overall is going to be super strong because the burst evolution where you could evolve first turn is kind of insane. And the simple fact that, just Jolteon, being able to have Jolteon on the active, and every time they attach an energy, they lose 20 HP is pretty good. So it's a good counter to, Darkrai, because they get punished for, putting that extra damage on you, But anyways, we have the baby Jolteon as well to deal with Oricorio as well, and then 2 Zeraora, 1 EVEX, so we could have you know, the third one for any Jolteon. We do have the Copycat. Copycat's gonna be good on the consistency on this deck. We're gonna be playing a lot of cards on the field. Elemental Switch is gonna be very vital to this deck, and May as well, gonna help us with the consistency. And then of course you want to run the EV bags, because you know, if you're running any of the evolutions, it's gonna be a clutch, you know, clutch factor or a must have. Next up, I want to go with Hitmonchan. I want to show what Hitmonchan can do, and I feel like a Rampardos version is gonna be nasty. So you know, of course, you run the rare candy line, and then you run what do you call it? Cards like Giovanni and Copycat, Citrus Berry, so you could live longer. Well, the thing is, you're doing 50 damage to yourself with Rampardos, and at least Citrus is gonna make you live a little bit longer than intended. And then Sabrina, and you know, that's pretty much it for this deck. And then we have like a very turbo Hydreigon deck. So this deck right here is basically just get out Hydreigon as fast as possible and start swinging for 130 damage. And I think it's just a better version of Rampardos, because you only take 30 damage when you know, use the ability, and you're not really losing, you know, 50 damage, or could get knocked out by one shot. And it's pretty quick to get on the field as well, as long as you get the rare candy and the consistency works for you. You have May to help you with that as well, and you know, Clef is always there to help you out, search your you know, your starters, and you got two Pokeballs to help. Next up, I think this deck is going to be interesting. It's just a working concept. I would just say take a screenshot. You have Marlin here as well for support. So it's going to be a very interesting way to do this. Again, it's a fossil deck. So just keep in mind, it's theory right now. So just... Another thing I want to show off is Melmetal EX. Like, the deck, again, you have 4 energy and you have to have a tool attached to it to attack. But if you get the right tool, like this apron, this Pokemon is going to live forever. And, you know, you could utilize the merchant in order to search for your tools, and you have Memory of Light to utilize Melmetal's Melton's ability, and you're playing the other Melmetal to deal with Oricorio as well. The point is this deck, you're bulky and you're attacking for high numbers. So again, May's just a really good PCOM communicator, getting you all your missing pieces so you could proceed with the game however you like. Next up, we have Pidgeot EX. This is gonna be the new Guzzlord. Not really, but it for 100 damage, 3 colorless energy. You're doing 100 damage, and you're flipping a coin for each heads. You blow 1 energy off, and if you get tails all 3 times, you do no damage. You got Double Will to help you out with that. You got Alicia to help you out, get the Pidgeys and the Pichus. Getting 3 colorless energy is pretty easy, and you got the rare candies to help you out too. So this set could have potential, but if you're willing to play a version of Pidgeot, this is a good take. One of the decks I want to show off here is Sylveon, Indeedee, and Espeon. So it's basically Espeon box, right? But you have Indeedee EX as support, so it's going to bring you extra healing. So imagine if you have Indeedee in the bench and double Espeon EX, you guys are living forever, dealing 80 damage, you know. And then you have baby Espeon to deal with any of the, you know, Oricorio threats. And, you know, it runs like the Espeon deck before. And the fast evolution Eevee is just insane. And it's going to make this deck so much consistent, so much faster. I can't wait to play this version of Espeon. It's just like insane overall. we're gonna get into Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria just looks insane. You have Indeedee to, basically make your Pokemon live forever. You have Clef to help you with the consistencies. You have another Altaria that's not Mega that can help you out with Oricorio. You have Klefki to deal with any of the tools that your opponent might have. This deck overall just seems strong, and you got Licia and May to help you with consistency. So overall, this deck is another way to play Mega Altaria. It's gonna hit for high numbers, and you can fill up your bench really quick. And Clef, you could just send it to the trash if you don't need it on the bench anymore, and you want to play, make room for a second Indeedee. Then we got Charizard. Good old reliable Charizard that does 200 damage. Now, why is this important? Because it's just overall, all these Mega Pokemon are coming in with, high levels of HP. And then you got cards like Giovanni, and Giovanni will push it to 210. And then, just dealing with most of these Mega Pokemon. And then you got Charizard, the regular one, to deal with Oricorio threats. And you got Charmeleon for Oricorio threats as well. Moltres is definitely going to be coin flipping you to your energy. And then you got, the basic Charmanders that are doing 20 damage. You could flip that for the 30 damage as well. And then you have Double Flame Patch. Double Flame Patch is going to be very necessary for this deck, because once the Moltres gets knocked out and you bring out the Charizard, and say if you only have 2 energy on the Charizard, you could just literally put stack 1 energy, play Flame, and then boom, you got your 200 attack ready to go. This deck is going to be really, really interesting, and I feel like it's going to be super strong. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Well, what deck you guys are going to play. And yeah, we'll see you guys tonight when I go live.